Coming back to action now. The dual meet between the United States and Georgia. Tied up 2 matches apiece as we head to 84 kilos. That's 185 pounds. From Georgia, it'll be Vladimer Gegeshidze, the 25-year-old, taking on Chaz Betts of the United States, 26 years old, native of Minnesota. Betts, a world teamer in 2009, made his first Olympic team by winning the Olympic trials back in April in Iowa City.
Betts short and stocky, this Georgian tall and thin. Great matchup.
And one thing we saw out of Betts at the Olympic trials was how much his parterre was the difference maker in his 2-match victory over Jordan Holm to qualify for the Olympic team.
Betts is another one of those guys. He's real solid pummeler. One of the weaknesses that he has had over the last few years was his parterre defense. And, you know, especially in the sport of Greco-Roman wrestling, where 90% of all scoring done is from parterre, that's the way it's been for every Olympics as far back as I could remember. If you look at the statistics that Doc Curby puts out every year, the scoring is done in parterre. So it's always it's just hugely important to be able to have that defense. Well, Betts fixed that this year, and he looked significantly better. And that's always going to play a big part when you're wrestling individuals of the caliber of the Georgian.
Kind of see in the background on the right behind the trainer's table, you see Chaz's younger but bigger brother Parker kind of shadowing the action as we got 35 seconds remaining scoreless. So we've got about 5 seconds now, 2, and we will go to forced parterre. In this case, Betts will be down. So good wrestling family there. Parker Betts, the again younger, bigger brother now at the USOEC, out of St. Michael, Albertville, Minnesota, just west of the Twin Cities on 94. In case you're familiar with Minnesota geography.
I'm not. One of my worst subjects, geography, but thank you for educating me.
We're here to help. Zach Arrett, our official on the mat.
Up.
Betts gets turned in parterre for 2. You see the elbow breaks. So there's 2 on the exposure with 10 seconds to go. So Gegeshidze takes the 2-0 lead with 6 seconds to go.
Yeah, Chaz made a little technical error there. You know, you could see right before the Georgian was able to get that gut wrench, Chaz's elbow was already on the mat. You know, in situations like that, you've got to keep your arms out. You've got to keep them posted. A straight arm is a strong arm. You know, it's one of the things that you learn from Olympic lifters watching them hit the snatch. They don't do it with their muscles. They do it with the joints. And you've got to keep those arms posted out. When those elbows hit the mat, you're either going to get turned or something's going to snap.
This is why the opinion of a 2-time Olympian is much needed here on the broadcast today. So thank you, Jim.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, I got turned a few times and then my arm snapped once. So I know from experience the importance of just keeping that great position in parterre. So it's something, obviously, that the coaches are going to go back and they're going to watch the film. I know Chaz. He's going to go back and he's going to watch this film and see what went wrong, and he's going to make the adjustments that he needs to make right before the Olympics.
A little scrappy out there right now, a lot of hand fighting. Betts trying to go over top. It's kind of hard to do that when the guy's 4 or 5 inches taller than you are. You probably know that from experience as well, Jim.
Yes, I was on the shorter side of 60 kilos when I competed, but if you can do what Betts is doing right here, which is to snap a guy down and pull. Pulling's important here. Pull and then shove like that. Pull.
Too far away from the edge to get the push out in that case, but again, jumped over top.
Yeah, he needs to sustain this because that Georgian keeps dropping his head, so Chaz needs to take advantage of this because even if he doesn't score with it, that's cramping up the lungs of his opponent. Guy's not breathing right. When you're suffering some oxygen deprivation, you're going to make mistakes.
And it's also a little warm here on a nice warm spring afternoon in suburban Chicago. Minute to go, 30 till we get to parterre. No score on the board. Dual meet tied up at 2 bouts apiece. This is Olympian Chaz Betts, the Minnesota native, and Vladimer Gegeshidze. 10 seconds to go to get the parterre.
Betts needs to use this. He's got an underhook. He needs to use it and get to the body. Pull and then attack.
And now he will go to the top position parterre. Needs to score. The onus is on the wrestler in the top position from this forced parterre to score. As we saw in our prelude bout with Muhammad Abdel Fattah and R.C. Johnson. And Justin Lester did the same, defending in the first period of his victory at 66.
Yeah, this is huge right now. Betts can't hold anything back. You know, he's got nothing to lose and everything to gain by just one big burst, everything right now.
We're going to try to step over the long legs of the Georgian. Just has got 15 to go. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Crawling forward is the Georgian. He's got probably one more good burst in him. Drives that shoulder in, lift. Pops over to his right. 2 and 1. And that'll do it. So 2-0, 1-0. The winner from Georgia will be Vladimer Gegeshidze. That'll put the Georgians back in the lead with 2 bouts to go. So we'll see what Justin Ruiz can do at 96 kilos after this on Fight Now TV.